difficult, and of course, this because super girls adapt to masculine character traits, so they have a masculine behavior. They mostly attract one certain type of man. I mean, what I want to talk about now, and is some sort of, again, hits in the spot of female quota. And this is, of course, the belief that if you bring in more women in the institutions, of course, we have to be here very careful, but it is the thought is why super girls do not really help some sort of bring in more feminist issues into why now you have some sort of super girls in these departments, in these companies, and so on. Why don't do? Why are there not more female issues, or why are they rather cautious in accomplishing these or in bringing forward uh, female issues? I mean, one reason is that if you as a woman rise through the ranks, and especially if you in a male company or in a male society institution whatsoever, then you always have to be careful, don't to not to incur the wrath of your superiors as well as your equals. So this means that you have to be rather obedient. You have to be some rather complacent with this structure whatsoever, or you don't get promoted. So in order to accomplish something in your career, you will rather be cautious, will not bring in feminist issues because you still need, it doesn't matter how high you or what you accomplish in a company, you still need approval of other men, and other men, especially if you're a woman, will challenge this woman, will will see more faults, of course, because she's a woman. Every eyes are on her. Everyone sees her faults, and this mostly leads to the fact that these women mostly hold back with feminist agenda. So because it is not smart, it is not. You have to be very cautious. The next thing, of course, is because of this toxic climate, partially, it's not always true. These women are mostly asexual, and or in a way are being considered asexual. So this they somehow are not being really taken seriously by feminist groups or whatsoever. Think only about issues. Or recent example in Germany, the German chancellor, and so on. I mean, this is despite the fact that she is a woman, she does not really bring in feminist issues, or at least it is not perceived by women. I mean, of course, every political party will announce and that they would be supporting feminist issues and so on, or Theresa May in Great Britain, and before that Margaret Thatcher, but yet these women did not really put forward in feminist issues, and because they need the support of their male colleagues, it is actually likely that, especially if they are alone in these institutions or these companies, if they are alone and if they still need need consensus, this will rather they will be susceptible and prone to male point of views. So this this uh, female gender of super guys. I mean, it appears that way. They put a lot of effort into accomplishing something, but it is some sort of society does not award them. They don't get the same appreciation than other other man or man in the same position, because the women are still measured as bearing children, and being a woman is being still considered to bear children, and then these women some sort of are not identified as women and so on, and this is further makes it very difficult for them, especially when they are always torn between family planning and career, because maternity leave is still, they are still disadvantaged, or have still suffer disadvantages if they take maternity leave, if they want to raise their children. And this has not to do with, and this is not only because the man would be sexistic, but if you stay away from work, especially if you work in a technological company, if you stay away half a year, 1 year, or even 2 years, then all your knowledge is some sort of old. You cannot use it anymore. This is what many of us went through. It is part of the technological age, this fast development, and no one can really keep up. And then there are, of course, family being children would be a huge hindrance in your career. So these women or it is very difficult for them to decide for children, and and for family, and it has of course not attractivity, but because if the fall is just so gigantic. I mean, if you are sitting in the company board and then you are a housewife, these things are different. This was the female gender of the super girl. I mean, I gave a very brief and concise summarize. I mean, this is again, I mean, that is literature is abundant, especially about feminism. The Me Too movement has enacted a lot. So that is indeed, especially American or English speaking or literature written in English by native speakers, because they know how to write books. I mean, if I compare them to German authors, they always write very complicated and exhausting. It is rather to prove that they have intellectual prowess, whereas English native speakers, they have really some sort of a fine way to write. I mean, they probably learn it in the school or whatever. So you can read a lot very interesting stuff about this uh, topic, and it is indeed very important. Feminism is indeed one of the keystones within the millennial age, which had a big issue for the thought processes. I mean, one point of course is this Me Too movement, but do not make a mistake about this. Me Too movement was rather about white women. I mean, this is one of the issues we will talk about later, is that the black woman, that they are not in the same way sexualized as the white woman. So this plays indeed in this issue, and that feminism has of course many facets or many approaches and points of view, but I will some sort of omit this conservative feminism. There is an approach, some sort of, which assumes that, I mean, which pretty much has this approach that women would be more sentimental, or which some sort of adopts those prejudices and then accepts them in face value. I mean, I don't think it makes much sense to talk about these things, but I wanted to mention it. There are conservative approaches, but I don't know any this I don't know any author. I've forgotten the names of it. So for those who wanna talk about this again as well, this is indeed something one should read about, even though one is a man. However, this was Adem Kirbas from Ordu. I am here in Turkey in the pandemic. It is a sunny day today. I hope you all are doing fine and that you take care of yourselves and that we somewhere, somehow, some way get past through this pandemic and then that we can move on. Bye.